Leadership, the action of leading a group of people or an organization. The definition is simple. However, the value of leadership goes beyond a simple explanation. You're checking out The Healthy Leader, discussing the different styles and the importance of great leadership. Now here's your host, Michelle Franklin.
Hey everyone, this is Michelle, your host, coming on today. I'm coming on actually a little early today, which means that tonight I probably will still come on to do the podcast. Yesterday I did not have time to complete the podcast, but I just wanted to come on to kind of talk to you guys about writing books. Okay, I know this is a little bit outside of the norm, a little bit outside of what I normally talk about, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that have been trying to write a book, a lot of people out there that have been trying to get their book out there, a lot of people have been trying to figure out where to start writing a book, and so I just want to talk about my process to writing a book. I am a published author of 10 books. You guys can look me up on Amazon. Just look up Michelle Franklin and the books by me. Some of the books that I actually have under a different name, and I'm in the process of relaunching those books back under Michelle Franklin. Anna Michelle originally started out as a pen name. A lot of authors, they use a pen name when they're getting started, and then they really convert back over to their born name. But I just wanted to go back over to my name opposed to utilizing the pen name. I just thought that it was much easier for me. It was much easier for those that know me to find me, because when you're writing a book, you're blogging about it, you're talking about it, you're writing about it, and people know you as the name that you put out. And so if they know you as Michelle and your pen name is different than Michelle, then it's going to cause a lot of confusion. And so when you take on a pen name, you're actually branding yourself. And so if you're not going to completely brand yourself with that pen name, then I would suggest you just stick with your name as you are publishing your book. Another thing that I would say is also be cautious about putting your picture on the book. A lot of times we're taught, and as I know you guys notice when you look around, you see so many people writing books, and you see so many people putting their picture on the cover of the book. I would say not to do that. You're not well known. You're not known. No one knows you. And so we live in a world today where racism is just huge. It is at its all-time high. And I'm not talking about racism just as it relates to African Americans and Caucasians. I'm talking about racism across the board. I'm talking about homosexuality. I'm talking about, just cultural differences. And sometimes people will look at the picture that is on the cover of their book and choose not to purchase your book because of the picture that's on it. And so you want to make sure that the cover of your book really speaks volume, but you want to make sure that your face isn't the person, isn't the picture, isn't the image that's actually on that book cover. Because if your face is on it, then what you're doing is you're limiting your audience, and you do not want to limit your audience, especially when you're getting started out. When I think about people like John Maxwell, he can afford to put his name and his picture plastered all over the cover of his book because he's well known, and he have millions of people who have purchased his product, so they know what he has to offer, and he has no problem selling books. He can write a book and put a different title on it, and it could be talking about the same thing. It doesn't matter if John Maxwell picture is on it, if his name is on it, they're going to buy it because he's already known. If T.D. Jakes' name and his photo is on a picture, chances are people are going to invest in it. They're going to buy it because to them, they know what they are getting. So when you're just getting started out, people do not know what you're getting. They don't know what they're getting. So because they do not know what they're getting, then you have to be very strategic about how you market your book. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that you do not put your picture on the front cover of that book. If you want to put it in the back of the book, put it in the back of the book. If you want to put it in the inside of the book, put it in the inside of the book. There's a few books that I have where my picture is on the not on the outside, but on the back of the book. But there are a couple books that I have where my picture is actually in the inside of the book, all the way in the back. There's a picture of who I am in that particular book. But I don't mind not putting my picture on the cover. I don't want to limit myself. I want people to be able to hear me, hear what I have to offer, and judge me based on that, and not judge me based on the content of how I look, but based upon the content of my character and the information that I've put out into that particular book. The last thing I would say is how I got started writing books was I was given an assignment. And the assignment was to write a small book about my life story. And so it was supposed to be very small, maybe about 5 pages, nothing big, nothing deep. And so as I started to write the book, I said to myself, I'm going to finish writing this book one day. Not knowing that I would ever be an author. I was a person that really wasn't into reading. I would probably read the newspaper. But in terms of sitting at home and just reading a really good book, that was just something that I was not into. So to tell me that I would be an author of this many books and talking about writing books and talking about being an author is just mind-blowing, because it's not something that I ever thought I would be doing. And so writing a book it became easy to me. The first time I wrote a book, I just got a pen and I started writing. I got the paper and I started writing. But then as I started learning more about the editing process, I said, you know what? Because of the kind of person that I am, I realized that in order for me, now everybody is different. You have to find your own style of writing. In order for me to complete this book, what I have to do is I have to set the structure of the book. I just cannot get a piece of paper and just start writing. Otherwise, things will be everywhere. And so I had to teach myself, okay, let me learn. I can't believe I just did that on here. But hey, you guys been rocking with me all this time. You guys love me. You guys love me anyway. So excuse the burp. I cannot believe I just did that. And I'm live. Oh my goodness. I'm literally live. And I'm on iHeartRadio. And I'm on Apple. And I'm on Google Podcasts. And I just burped. Oh, well, hey, I'm human. That's what we do. So you guys forgive me for that. But nevertheless, going back into this writing book. So what I had to do was I had to structure the book. I had to do a layout of the book. I had to sit back and I had to determine what the title of the book would be. I had to determine what my chapters were going to be. And I kind of just created a structure and a template for myself. So now when I write all of my books, the template that I personally created, that's the template that I use to write my books. And so it has been working. It has been helping me out. And I want to encourage you guys today to find out what works best for you when it comes time for you writing your book. Again, it's easy for me to get the title, of the chapters, because what I can do is write according to the chapters. So let's say I have a chapter called Learning Something New. Then that means everything that I put in that chapter will be in reference to learning something new. And if I deviate away from that, then I'll write it in a different notebook, because it probably will go along with another title. But when I'm writing, I stay the course. I don't deviate off into something else that could possibly go into another chapter. Say I have another chapter called Commitment. I don't want what I'm writing about as it relates to embracing something new, being something new, doing something new, to be in a chapter that I'm working on as it relates to commitment. And if I do put it in there, then I have to learn how to integrate, bring both of them all together, integrate it all together. Like, I have to learn how to talk about something new, and becoming new requires commitment. So I have to learn how to bring it all together in order for it to actually fit into the chapter that I'm writing about. And so what I do is I set the structure of the book. I set the stage. I set the scene. I get the title of the book. I come up with the desired book cover. I want to know how it's going to look. I think about the target of readers that I'm going to target, and then I begin to write. And when I do that, there is a flow. Anything that is in order, going back to leadership, okay? When I come on here, I talk about healthy leader. And one thing about being a healthy leader is organization, it's order. When a leader doesn't have order, there is no flow. An organized leader understand that in order for them to have an unrestricted flow, there must be order, okay? And so when I write, I have an order to how I write. I have an order to the setup of the book, the layout of the book. I have an order to how I'm doing things, step-by-step guide of how I'm going to accomplish this. There is a set order in which I have. And once the order is set, there is a unrestricted flow that even when I'm driving down the street, I have to literally grab my phone and begin to talk in my phone so I can remember the downloads that I'm getting to write in this book. Why? Because I've created order. When you create order, nothing can stop the flow. It's like a running water. You know, there was an order to setting up the pipes, to setting up the pipeline, to knowing what place the faucet, you know, the water that comes out of the faucet and the piping has to be in a particular location. It has to be aligned properly. It has to be in order for you to turn that faucet on and get that flow of water coming down. And as long as the faucet is on, as long as the pipes are in the right location, then what you will see happening is an unrestricted flow. It is the same way we're writing books. There can be an unrestricted flow in your writing if you create order. And leaders walk in order. Leaders have order. They have order in their personal lives as well as their professional lives. It's impossible for you to say, I'm a professional, but yet your personal life is disarray. No, you are not a professional if you only professional at work. When you're a professional around the board, around the clock. You're a professional in your personal life. You're organized in your personal life. You're professional and organized when you go to work. When you're around people, you can't help but to be professional because it's who you are. There's a flow that is within you. It is just who you are. And so I just wanted to come on here and I wanted to encourage you guys to get up and begin to write. Listen, we are almost in November. You can get the book done by the end of the year and come into the new year as a brand new author. I am writing a book, and listen, it can take 2 weeks to finish writing a book if you create the structure, if you create the order, so that you can have that unrestricted flow and just sit and write. And come on now, let's just face it. Some of us are really sitting at home and we're doing nothing. Let's just tell the truth. Okay? Some of us we're in a pandemic. So if you have a lot of time on your hand, if you have at least 4 or 5 hours on your hand to do nothing, you can sit down and take 2 hours out of that time a day and actually write and get that book done within 2 weeks, especially when you lived long enough and you have the information in you. The most important thing I would say you will want to make sure you have is content. And I learned that from John Maxwell, you know, and it just made a whole lot of sense to me. When a person doesn't have a lot to say about a subject, the size of the book is really small. Sometimes you want to start off small because you want to get your feet wet. That's why it's good to join collaborations. If someone is doing a book collaboration, pay the money to get into the collaboration, because once you become a part of that collaboration and you write that little bit of content that they're asking for, then chances chances are it's going to be a launching pad to when you're ready to actually launch your book and when you're ready to actually write your book. Okay. And so as time go on and you learn more and you read more and you become more, you're different, you're growing. Chances are you're going to have more content to write about, and the book is going to get thicker and thicker and thicker. And sometimes people tell you write smaller books because this generation have a low attention span. And so because they have a low attention span, they won't read really thick books. No, a low attention span doesn't mean that they won't read really thick books. What it means is that you have to grab their attention at every stage of the book. And so if the book is in its proper order, in the beginning stages, grab their attention. In the middle stages, grab their attention. And the end stage, grab their attention. You want your readers to be able to read your book and can't put it down. Can't put it down. A low attention span doesn't dictate how long or how much time a person spend reading your book, or not even reading your book, but it doesn't determine the content. It determines how long a person is willing to engage in your book. So they may have a low attention span because your book is boring and they gotta wait until the middle of the book just to get to the heart of the book. It's the same way with a movie. When a movie starts off in action, it has my attention. That's why I love the Avengers. And I think I'm getting ready to put this down and watch the Avengers. I especially love Infinity War because it comes on with war. It comes on with the fighting, with the action, with Thor. Oh my goodness, they are in space and they are fighting and I love it. I love it. Everybody that knows me knows that I love action movies. And so when Infinity War comes on, it's straight up action and it grabs my attention. It has me sitting there and it just has me so engaged and waiting for the next scene. Like, oh my goodness, I don't want to miss anything. So I wanted to encourage you guys on today, especially you guys that are leaders, to organize, to be a person of order, be a leader of order, but also to encourage you to get the book done. Write the book, get it done. It doesn't have to be your own personal story, but it can be a story that can change the trajectory of our nation, that can change our history. Be a history maker. Even when you are dead and gone, your voice will still speak from the grave when you are an author. You guys be blessed. I pray that this helps someone on today. I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys either tonight. Maybe I'll come on tonight. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll wait till tomorrow. Who knows? Reach out to me. Let me know if you enjoyed this podcast, and if you have, then maybe I'll come back on tonight. I love you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.